And see, that's where I'm going with a lot of this. Like, you guys are married. You guys have been together a long time, not just, in a relationship sense, but in a musical sense as well. You're each other's biggest fans. I can see that just by looking at you. But there has to be separation, right? Like just me and my wife, we're not musical together. We're not like a singer-songwriter duo, but we're together 24 hours a day. So we have to find separation. We have to find quiet time from each other. Or there's going to be that butting of heads, and it's going to be, I imagine, much, much worse for you guys because you're literally creating together. You're on the road together. You're playing live together. You're in the studio together. You're writing together. Everything is together. So are you guys able to separate the professional from the personal? And if not, like, how do you get through that?
It can be a tough one.
Yeah.
Anybody who, first of all, you have your own business, you know that you can work as many hours as you want and not be ever be done with the things that
Yeah.
you're doing. So that on top of um, working with your partner, which really is awesome. Like I love singing with Kassie and working with Kassie, but figuring out the boundaries of, I think I had to start thinking about it, or I have to more start thinking about it this way, is when am I going to take off of work?
Yeah.
Instead of like saying, I'm going to work this much today, I have to be like, when am I going to be done working? Because I can't just work my life away. And we have a relationship to build, we have other relationships to build, we have a life to live. And so those boundaries, it's tough. But like being very adamant about it. I'm done at 7 o'clock today. I'm done working, and I'm just gonna like live my life like a
Man,
normal would.
it's so funny because, like,
It's tough.
this is essentially a hobby, but I mean, really, it's like a job. What I get to do, chatting with y'all and doing research and editing, and I do all of this alone, so it's all independent. But like, my wife will message me and say, "Hey, you want to go to the store? Let's get out of the house, walk around Walmart. Just we don't even have to buy anything." And I'd be like, "Well, I really have to get this episode put together or whatever." And she was like, "Well, maybe I need to talk to your boss then." or
Yeah.
or maybe you need to ask your boss for some time off, and she'll hit me with that all the time, man. And it's just, there's no answer for stuff like that, man. Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you have to let yourself off of work at times. It's for sure.
Right. Or you have to force yourself to not
Yeah.
work. I
Yeah,
mean, and for me, and maybe a lot of people, like that ambition just drives you, and you could just work. You could
yeah,
do
the
it for,
hustle, the hustle, yeah.
but there's other things like the enticing part about having a business is building and building and seeing that build. But we have to realize that we're building other things in life too. We're building relationships. We're building our faith. We're building creativity. And those things are important in life too.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. Got anything on this one, Cassie?
Say again.
I said, you got anything on this one?
The only thing I have to add is two words: Planet Fitness. And
We started with Planet Fitness.
on the
Circular.
road, I mean, we do everything together, and so uh, our time during the day. So we travel in our van. So we travel all over in our van, and it's a Dodge Ram ProMaster that Ben converted into a tiny home. And so we go to Planet Fitness every day when we're on the road, and that's where we work out and shower. But that's where we have like our alone time. So, we each work out on our own, sit in the chairs, do our thing. And that's really just a time for us to be alone, to listen to podcasts, to watch a TV show, to, listen to whatever. But it's our time where we can kind of be apart. And I think that's a big deal. So thank you, Planet Fitness.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's so important for people out there to make sure that you spend time with yourself.
Right.
It's so important, man. Like, I don't care how many hours or how many days or how many weeks, whatever, that you're with somebody and you're always present. You have to make sure you schedule some time for yourself, because if you don't, you're never going to understand who you are. And if you don't understand who you are, then you don't know what you're bringing to the relationship. And so it's just that simple. Make sure you are spending time with yourself,
Yeah.
just mentally. And I feel like a lot of people It's getting better just because of just the way the internet is. It's so quick, you get information, but you have to train your mental health the same you would as your physical health, right? Like you can't expect your mental health to be healthy unless you think about it and work on it and do exercises and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
For example, like I'm a full-time content creator, and like I said, it is more of a hobby than anything. But one of the things I create is audiobooks. I'll just take like old public domain stories and I'll record myself reading them and then I'll put them on a YouTube channel. And I'm not doing this because I want to make money. I'm doing it because I want to work on my mental health. I want to help with my it's food for the brain essentially, you know. And
Yeah,
yeah, you
good.
learn a lot of cool words that way too, by the way.
Sure, yeah, especially from the public domain. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I just did a Edgar Allan Poe one called Hop Frog that I had never heard of before, and it's so dope. Like, it's just such a cool thing because it's not really what Poe is known for. Like, he's known for that dark stuff, and the whole story is super like upbeat and joyful, and then the end is super dark.
Oh, God.
It just goes from one to the next, and I was like, yeah, this is cool. But anyway, yeah, if you're just
Wow.
checking us out, you can find all of that. There's playlists on here on the YouTube somewhere for that. But let's get back into Goldpine. You guys were once known as my one and only, and now you're Goldpine. And man, I want to talk about branding here because I know you guys suffered with the branding because once you're known as something, you have your logos all over the place. You got your distribution, your songs are on Spotify, all of this stuff, and then you make the choice to switch it up, and now you're Goldpine. You leave all that behind. I have rebranded twice, so I know exactly what this is like. Talk about the pros and cons of that choice, going from one band to another.
Well, what should we start with? The cons?
Sure.
um, yeah, you mentioned it. Changing all of the stuff you have online, changing all the printed material, uh, getting your fans to realize what you did, and more importantly,
Why?
everybody asks you, well, why'd you change your name?
Yep.
We loved my one and only. And what does your name mean now? What does Goldpine mean? Uh, it's a process. Yeah, I would say, I mean, people are still asking us why we changed our name and what the name means. But especially the first year and a half, it was just like all the time we were answering that question. What other cons?
I mean, the only maybe like with booking, with and festivals and stuff like that, people knowing you as my one and only.
Right. You're
So
starting over a little bit there.
everything we did would have to be like Goldpine, formerly my one and only, and all the emails, and we had to do that for like a year and a half. And then sometimes I remember, like, I don't know, we were recently somewhere, I don't remember where we're at, and this guy, oh, it was a radio guy in Alabama, and it was in Birmingham, and I introduced myself to him, and he was like, I was like, hey, yeah, nice to meet you. And he was like, wait a second. You used to be called my one and only. And I was like, oh, yeah. And he goes, I know you. I play your music. And I was like, oh, but he didn't, I don't think he played Goldpine because he didn't know. And I was like, oh. Now he knows. So just that whole thing of getting people to know you as that have already known you as your former name. That was kind of a con.
But pros, I mean, we changed it because my one and only is a mouthful. It's a lot going on. And we wanted something that was just like more representative of the sound that we do. Goldpine has a, I don't know, kind of a earthy, timeless, mysterious, maybe aggressive feel to it, and that's what we're kind of going for.
It starts conversation too, right?
And it starts conversation, yeah.
Yeah.
And someone has a Goldpine hat on or something. Other people are gonna ask that fan, "Oh, what's Goldpine?"
That's what
So
I
it is
mean. It starts conversation. Yeah, it starts conversation. Yeah.
And it's been great for branding. Like it's so fun to do.
And searchable.
T-shirts.
It's super searchable.
Yeah. And t-shirt designs, and like you can just play off the gold and everything. Like I have a gold microphone, and like on our last album we were wearing like goldish looking clothes. Like it's just it's fun. I love it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I saw it, you know, when I was reading about the brand change, the band title change, I was like, man, the first thing that came to my mind was Google. I was like, they did this for Google. Like, you Google my one and only, holy crap, man, you're going to be
Yeah.
scrolling forever until you find the band. Unless you
Yeah.
put the word band in at the end, and people aren't going to do that, right? But
Yeah.
if you search Goldpine, there you are, boom.
Mhm.
So that was
Yeah.
my first thought. As a social media guy, I was like, that's why they did it. That's got to be one of the reasons, at least. Yeah, I love that. I love Goldpine. It's super cool. It's very identifiable to who you guys are, creatively, I think, as well, which is cool. I don't know if that was meant to be that way for you guys when you. So, like, were there other names as well that you were kicking around?
Yeah, I remember we had this 8x11 sheet of paper. I think we were driving somewhere, and we were just like, what kind of words do we like? And it was like river, or our last name's Wilson, oh, the pines. It was all like earthy words. And
Yeah.
I think one of the options was like Wilson River and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
I like where we landed.
yeah.
Yeah, it definitely works.